trouble trying to sleep. I'm counting shit, not running now. Time ticks by, still I try. No rest for clouds comes in my mind. On my own, here we go.
I can tell you right now, Wes, what we're looking at, this right here is a hierarchy walking into Revive right now. You're looking at a powerhouse group.
Kerry is wanting to do this by himself. Sending the world champ.
This right here,
Outspoken Owen Reed. And Max
anyone in the state of Tennessee, anyone in Southern Wrestling knows Kerry Awful. They know the Carnies. They know what they've done. What they don't know is the Kerry Awful that has emanated in this very personalized, desperate bout and feud that's developed with James Bandy.
I don't know if anybody been checking out the promos online. These guys have been cutting towards each other, but things have really took a turn, I want to say, for the worse. Things have gotten a little bit more personal than we intended, because we found out from some sources that these guys actually have known each other for quite a long time and used to travel the road together and have a pretty distinctive relationship in the past. And
through diligent reporting, what's turned up, Kerry Awful, all business horror franchise, James Bandy, how we've all come to know him. They have a past. They rode together. They were friends. They've been up and down the roads.
Kerry actually, taught Mr. Bandy a lot of things that he knows.
What we're really looking at here is Kerry's done a lot. He's got a promotion, he's got a school, he's got a lot of people that he considers his kids, his trainees, his family, his wrestling family that he helped save Southern Wrestling with, to kill the stigma. And one of those men is walking out right now.
A true, real deal hustler from College Park, Georgia. The man, the franchise, all business, James Bandy.
What you're seeing right now, you're not seeing the same all business James Bandy that we're used to seeing. What you're seeing right now is the street hustle, do whatever kind of business it takes to get business done, James Bandy.
All this man cares about tonight is getting that win. It's all about checks and championships these days.
What he's got to do tonight is he's got to set himself apart. He's got to set himself apart from the same people that Kerry has faced. He's got to teach the teacher. And Kerry Awful is coming from a place currently where he has to be able to build himself back and understand that he is worthy of being that teacher. He's worthy of having that role as another savior of Southern wrestling. There's desperation here on both ends.
Pure desperation, and Kerry straight into it. Not even giving the ref a chance.
Look at Kerry.
Taking it to him. Might have been a little too aggressive right there.
Very simply, there's no kind of fight, like the type of fight that you would have between a teacher and a student that also happen to be friends, that consider themselves peers, and then both of them apex to a point where they come to almost this Venn diagram where everything crosses.
Smart move with the bulletproof vest there from James Bandy.
Bandy has evolved past his thought process of being all business.
That was a hell of a slap to the face. That's just pure disrespect right there.
I think Kerry's trying to prove something here, Wes. I think really what's happening right now is Kerry Awful wants to stake his claim to being who he wants to be, who he says he's been. And if it has to come at the cost of a guy like James Bandy right now, that's what he's willing to do, because he has to prove it for his family. Not only his wrestling family, he has to prove it for his real family. James Bandy got to a point where he took everything really personal, and we've kind of gone beyond right and wrong and good and bad.
And Bandy with a nice suplex right there. Kerry pops right back up. You can definitely tell it took a lot out of him, stumbling around. Ooh, another nice move. Nice uppercut right there from James Bandy. And the whole fact, if you watch those promos that these guys are putting on each other, they used to be good friends, but the fact that James Bandy brought Kerry's real-life family. Oh, devastating throw. Just threw him across the ring. Good God. But the fact that he brought his family in the thing just kind of ramped things up just a little bit. Like,
the deal is this. James Bandy wants to make a name for himself in what he's doing.
Another
He wants to do
suplex
it.
throw.
He's looking to do it with street justice, Atlanta-style street justice, at the detriment of a guy like Kerry Awful. And Kerry Awful has set himself apart to be, he's almost become this martyr of Southern Pro Wrestling, this starving artist of Southern Pro Wrestling. And he's got to find his way back. And a big hurdle to do that is a guy like All Business James Bandy. They're both approaching it from this angle of, we have to set ourselves apart.
Ooh, right into the steel stairs. We can tell something is snapped with Kerry. A person who's supposed to be his friend, a student, you wouldn't think he would do things like throw him into the stairs, disrespectful slaps in the face, but he's not the same old Kerry we used to know before. He's changed.
We're not seeing him with his Carney family. We're not seeing him with his wrestling family. We're not seeing him, obviously, with his actual family.
He's just here to win. He's here to put up a fight, beat James Bandy up, and leave with the win. Plain and simple.
We're seeing him employ tactics and employ all kinds of different teachings that he probably imparted to Bandy on these card trips that they've taken together. And we're also, Bandy's having a hard time fighting back at the moment while he's on the outside to a veteran like Kerry, but at the same time, Bandy's got a lot of fire, he's got a lot of vitriol, and I know that he is in a much more harsh place too. He's coming from a place where he wants to prove himself, and he has to. Whoever comes out on top of this, to be honest, I mean, it's going to go a long way, not only here at Revive, but throughout a lot of things.
Oh, twisting the joints, manipulating, taking the finger all the way back, just causing excruciating pain on the part of James Bandy from Kerry Awful. Kerry, like you said, he's not with this Carney guy. He's not wearing a mask. He's coming out. He's becoming the businessman once again. And All Business James Bandy, I don't think is ready for the type of business that Kerry is about to dish out, that has been dishing out this whole time.
We also see outspoken Owen Reed, who's just walked the two challengers that Toby Farley backed against the previous trio back into the building. I guess they settled their differences outside. If you've been following Revive Pro Wrestling, one thing you do know, All Business James Bandy won the #1 contendership and should be challenging Uncle
Dragon
Biff.
Screw.
Unfortunately, he's been robbed of that opportunity for the evening. Owen Reed chose his own opponent. And then also, in order to test Bandy, to scout Bandy, to figure out how Biff could get to Bandy, brings in a fellow person from badboardy.com, a fellow compatriot in Crux Wrestling, such as Kerry Awful, who, with Crux, he's got to keep the lights on. He wants the air conditioning in their building. They have to be able to throw shows at the Gypsy Joe. They have to be able to throw these shows and run Crux Wrestling for Kerry's heart.
Kerry is the father of Crux. He's the daddy, and he wants to keep the shit going.
Now, previous to this match and previous to the reporting that turned in all of these facts to us, we had no knowledge of James Bandy and Kerry Awful being familiar with one another. Kerry has always talked very highly of his kids, quote unquote, and it's not his regular children, it's the people that he has brought up to once again break this stigma of Southern wrestling and bring people up into this business with a future. And he considers James Bandy as not only one of his close friends, but also one of his kids. This is like two bosses fighting over a territory.
It's sort of, the student trying to overtake the master and reteach the master some new moves. Teach the old dog some new tricks, if you want to say.
But then you gotta wonder, the old dog trying to make sure that he can hang with the new tricks. And so far, Not doing a very bad job.
Getting very personal. Taking the glove off.
He's got a hold of the fingers of James Bandy.
Oh, and just stretching the pinky and the thumb apart. Biting. What's the ref? He's biting. Oh. That's not very sanitary, but I don't think Kerry cares about that.
If I've seen anything reminiscent of the Kerry Awful of old, it was that move right there with the finger movements, the joint manipulation, the biting of the fingers.
As you see, he's got a mouthpiece in. He's just ready to fight. That's purely what he's here for, is for a fight.
He brought his entire fight to this whole thing against Bandy. And here's the thing. Normally, under the typical circumstance, you wouldn't necessarily think that a guy like Kerry Awful would come in and necessarily take a guy like James Bandy seriously.
Another back suplex.
The thing is, that would have been a mistake. And Kerry came ready. These guys are both coming in with everything on the line. Bandy has to prove that he deserves the #1 contendership that he won. And we all know there are ties with Biff and Owen Reed and people like Mr. Stuff, who you can check out all the storyline on badboardy.com. Go check out Crux Wrestling. There are shows on IWTV, independentwrestling.tv.
Kerry seems to be wasting a little bit of time right now. Let's see if that backfires on him. Setting him up. Let's see. Irish whip right to the corner. The whole ring move with that force right there.
You have to wonder if the doubt is getting in Kerry's head a little bit and making him waste a little bit of time, or if he's trying to get in Bandy's head. But here comes Bandy like a house
God,
on fire.
what a lariat. Hell of a lariat. It turned him inside out.
That's the kind of thing that you can't anticipate.
That's just power. That's just pure power. It's getting intense over here. Ooh, half and half suplex.
Here's the fact.
Ooh, knee right to the fucking chest.
Bandy is bringing every ounce of his #1 contendership status.
Uranagi, devastating. Kerry's tweaking, he's twitching, he doesn't know what's going on. Let's see if we can get that pin. And a kick out of 2.
You absolutely cannot argue the fact. James Bandy, undoubtedly, with a bullet, #1 contender to the Revive Heavyweight title, despite the shenanigans that have gone on that lead to the main event of this evening. You got to expect Bandy is here to prove his point.
Bandy, definitely the future of Revive Pro Wrestling. Well, let's see if he can go through Kerry and put another win on the notch in his column of wins.
With the ownership change here in Revive, confusion over Kerry's role as a businessman.
Oh, Kerry taking the straps off.
That's some Tennessee if I ever seen it.
Is he signaling for a pile driver? Is that what he's signaling for? Another forearm trying to soften him up. Nope, nope, up. He's trying to lock in the armbar.
Looking for a Marafuji?
Bandy is not letting go. Oh, and the hand is up. Tweaking the wrist all the way back. More joint manipulation with the combination of that arm and those hands. Good God.
You can't let Kerry Awful have a single inch unless you want him to take a mile. That is just the truth.
And you can't do very good grappling when your fingers don't work.
What you're looking for right now is you're looking at Kerry Awful coming out of the role of understanding himself as a businessman, as a promotion owner, as somebody trying to build a future, and as somebody who maybe not has concentrated on everything within the squared circle enough to count himself among the winners. And that's what he's trying to figure out right now.
Alex Kane's got him set up. Ooh, Liger bomb. Oh, and a kick out at 2.
That was not only a kick out, I don't know if you noticed, but Kerry Awful once again employing those veteran tactics. He took it to the eye. And I don't know if the ref either didn't see or if he didn't feel like it was worth calling, but
Kerry definitely knows what he's doing. He came in with a plan today.
The mixture of his ability to look at how to keep the lights on and to maybe concentrate on taking that next step. If you look at this, if he could shut down a guy like James Bandy and protect the interests of a new owner to Revive Pro Wrestling like outspoken Owen Reed and their interest in Biff as maintaining his championship status, then all of a sudden that validates everything.
Goes for the kick, misses. Ooh, nice. Let's see if we can get that one. Oh, a kick out at 2.
Bandy's not going to be able to get out of this.
Again,
An armbar wrist lock combo. Kerry has control. Bandy hits the rope. And you know where Bandy learned that ring awareness? Very likely
probably from Kerry.
from Kerry Awful.
And then Kerry Awful definitely utilized that count as much as he could to, cause the most damage without getting disqualified. He knows exactly what he's doing out here today.
It seems to me like Bandy
I don't think Bandy was ready for this.
Bandy's a little bit of a move for move in terms of being able to find his way out of it. He's got his awareness down. Sometimes the student surpasses the teacher.
He's got him hooked. Nice reversal.
My. What a smooth transition, and oh my God.
Fisherman driver. And that was the 3 count. James Bandy with that fisherman driver just absolutely destroying Kerry Awful.
All business. James Bandy gets the W over his mentor and teacher, Kerry Awful. You see Kerry come into Revive as a hired gun and get shut down, and you got to wonder, oh, wait. Here comes the cavalry, Mr. Stuff, the new Revive owner, outspoken Owen Reed, missing from the get-up right now. And here he comes, the Hellbilly Horror Show himself.
Uncle Biff coming down.
The Revive Pro champion. It seems to me Bandy may have confirmed his #1 contendership status. There is so much deeper to be taken from this. Again, refer yourself to badboardy.com. Look up Crux Wrestling. Look up the storylines going on, not only through Twitter, but through YouTube. Through anywhere that you can find wrestling on the internet, you will find a lot more of the background than what we have currently at Revive Pro. But as you can see, they're setting this up to be a homicide squad.
Oh, and they... what? Did Kerry just try to save James Bandy? Did he just take a bullet for him?
It looked to me like Kerry Awful just tried to save. He had a respectful fight with somebody that he considers a peer. Again, no right, no wrong. And he went and decided he was going to sacrifice himself for it a little bit here. And it looks like there's mixed signals going on.
Looks like his buddies are not really agreeing with what he's putting out here.
Maybe once again the wrestler and the businessman and the family man and the human, Kerry Awful, may once again be in different places than his cohorts.
It's clearly still a mutual respect right here for one another. Let's see how this all shakes out. I mean, Bandy's still looking strong for his #1 contendership, but
these guys knew how to fight like siblings. They knew how to fight like brothers. They knew how to fight like true rivals. They knew buttons to push. They knew things to do. But at the end of the day, that is still someone that you respect. It's still your equal. And
Kerry's still a little hesitant, which is very understandable in a very tense situation like this.
Bandy's awesome! Everybody! Bandy's awesome, boys!
We're seeing Kerry Awful extend the respect to James Bandy as a peer, as a compatriot. It's gone past mentor and mentee. It's gone past we used to ride together and I taught you stuff. It's gone past all of those paradigms into a mutual respect.
Bandy tonight brought something out of Kerry
Until
that has been needing to come out for a long time, and clearly have mutual respect, but there's still just a little bit of beef going on there.
you really have to wonder if Kerry just saw something in the mirror that he didn't want to see. Maybe he saw that catching up with everything, trying to concentrate on money, trying to concentrate on business, the mixture between all these things, maybe it didn't catch up the exact same way that he planned on. I mean, he took the L. I'm sure that he did not plan on that.
Put up a valiant effort. And still there's clearly some respect for his old student who has now taught the teacher some new lessons.
You look at a guy like All Business James Bandy bringing his brand of street justice, his hustle, do any kind of business to get everything you need to get done level attitude. That's James Bandy in a nutshell. And in my opinion, Wes, he's proven himself as undoubtedly the #1 contender for the Revive Pro Heavyweight Championship. There's no doubt in anybody's mind about that. James Bandy tonight has made himself unequivocally the next guy.